Well, hello! It is Glory with Disney Adventure Hub. We are out for our weekly walk, getting ready for the Disneyland trip coming up in now 3 weeks at an alarming rate. If you're new here, this is my adventure to being able to physically walk Disneyland. In the past, my SI joints give me problems after, 5 or 6 hours, and I end up in a wheelchair for the rest of the trip. I started doing strength resistance training, exercise classes, in addition to the yoga that I was doing about 1.5 years ago, maybe 2 years by now. And the last 2 trips that I've had, I took a lot of precautions, but I did not need a wheelchair. This year, I have had some issues with my left hip and have been seeing a physical therapist for about 2 months now. And that has mostly been remedied. Now we're back to the SI joint issues. So, if you remember from last week, I've been having some trouble with the left SI joint. And bending forward has oddly been very painful. Normally bending forward feels better to me than like backward bending. And they've had me start doing some not back bends, but like cobra press ups and things to help work on that mobility in the lower back, go in the opposite direction. And I did my yoga class last week that had a back bend option in it. I think it's going to start raining. Dang it. And I think things got a little bit better bending forward. So as far as the forward bending goes, it was mainly bending forward to get down onto the floor into a chaturanga, or bending forward to get into a burpee, just that bending to get your hands on the floor. There's a certain spot that didn't like that. Well, last week after back bend, for a little bit, seemed to feel better. And then this week, I did my core class, I did my high fitness cardio class, and on Friday, I did my yoga. It's kind of a yoga Pilates fusion class. It's called Body Balance. And we had the back bend option again, and I did it for the full time this time, and I think the SI is even better. So strange that seems to be helping things now, where in the past that would have sent my SI into 3 weeks of freaking out. So I think that's good. Anyway, I have now finished my Alexa video series. Switching hands. Which, if you watch last week's episode, has been now a 5-month adventure to creating this series, which is simply just a foundational series that I'm calling it, to refer people to later when I do at-home Disney adventures. And I can't even believe it took that long. It was such a complete learning from ground zero, as well as doing the videoing and editing and scripting, all of that stuff. Anyway, it is now done. The final video published yesterday, and hurrah, I have reclaimed some of my time. So, starting this week, I am now going to try and add in some walking every day, which sounds like a lot, going from 1 day a week to every day. So maybe not every day, but more. I don't want to overdo it, but yes, more days of the week, and then we'll just amp it up the next 2 weeks after that before we go. So this is exciting stuff. Now you may notice that dressed a little bit differently. That's because here in Utah it has now become chilly, and this is part of fall, right? On our way into winter. Not cold yet, but no longer summer. And it has rained for the past 2 days. And we had our first skiff of snow on the mountains last night, which is super exciting. I like change. I don't know about you, but I enjoy being somewhere where things aren't the same all the time. I mean, granted, in the dead middle of winter and summer, I wish things were 74 degrees year round, but it gives me an appreciation for the other seasons. So, it wasn't supposed to rain today, but I'm convinced that that's not going to happen. So, trusty umbrella, my portable one, is not in my car. And this may seem funny, but I'm wearing my snow boots because I wasn't sure how wet the trails would be. I didn't want to soak my walking shoes, so we'll see how well these boots do walking. So I am particularly excited for this weather because I finally get to wear my long sleeve Disneyland 70th anniversary t-shirt, which obviously has been far too hot to wear since I got it in the summer from the Disney store. I wanted to make sure I got it before they sold out, before we could get to the park in person in October. So that is where we are today, and just gonna enjoy a little walk before I head out to left hip cramp. Come on! I tell you what, physical health is quite a journey, isn't it? All we can do is keep working on it and making sure that our body is in as good a condition as can be to allow us to do the things that we want to do. So, thanks for joining me to do that. I'm on my road. I hope you are too. I'm going to carry on with my walking, and I'll check in with you later. There's this cute little tree hole that people like to decorate for the season around here. Looks like it is time for fall decorations. So cute. I love seeing what they do. Although the last one they did, I'm not sure what was going on there, but this one, cute. Maybe what's happening in there. Thank you for being awesome. That's what it says. Well, hey, you're welcome. And all of you are awesome too. So thank you. Well, we walked about 1.75 miles, just over 35 minutes, which is really about as far as you'd walk at one time in the Disney parks. And then there's sitting and standing in between, so we're gonna sit because I'm particularly tired today. I don't think I slept very well last night, and we all know that's important, so I think I'm paying for it a little bit today, but not too bad. I don't think I told you about my PT appointment this past week. We did do some more hip work on that left hip, meaning she dug her elbows into my hip and played around for a little bit, trying to release the muscles. My mid-back is also pretty tight, and so she was working on that a little bit ropey, she said. So, I don't know, it's no wonder things are amiss with my hips if everything around it is tight and pulling things out of whack. And then I told her that in the past couple weeks we had done some cupping with the other therapist. I think I told you about cupping. And so she did the cupping on my low back SI joints again, and that does seem to help. So that was good. We'll have to keep doing that. I don't know if it's the same effect or not, but the past 2 trips I've mentioned I haven't needed to be in the wheelchair. I have also used KT tape, is one of those plethora of things I told you that I throw at it when we go. And if you're not familiar with KT tape, it's an athletic tape that they put over joints and muscles that are having issue to support them and or lift the skin away to add increased blood flow. I don't know. I'm not a physical therapist or a trainer, so I'm sure they could give you a better definition. But I think that has been really helpful. So I'm not sure if the cupping does something similar by way of blood flow, because it sucks up the skin, you know, and increases the blood flow. But whatever the KT tape does, it's helpful. And I'll have to make sure we do the cupping before I leave on the trip again. But still, I think I have 2 more PT sessions before we leave town. So that is going to be helpful. It's kind of peaceful just sitting here. A little bit like finding a nice spot in Disneyland on a bench in the shade and just soaking in the atmosphere. Well, I guess it's time to move on. But it's been nice not moving for a few minutes. Let's go back. Just something funny to note. This shirt, I love almost everything about it. I love that it's black. I love the bright colors. I love that this is embroidered. There's an embroidery on, not embroidery, but a logo on the sleeve. But you see how long it is? That is not particularly desirable for me because it literally covers up my whole hand. But the thing I'm enjoying right now is the fact that it covers up my whole hand because I didn't bring my gloves. So I guess there are benefits to doing that when it's actually chilly outside. I found some, oh, there's a cat. That was interesting. I found some of the sunshine and so I'm gonna bask in it for a minute, but yeah, there was this just random cat running through. I guess there must be feral cats around here. It's back there. Just like at Disneyland. Well, I suppose we can find parallels to Disneyland and most of the places we go, depending on what we appreciate about the park. Maybe it's the food and going to our favorite restaurant at home feels just as nice. I don't know. I mean, there's just something about being in the park. And maybe it's that everything is together, all in one place. But we definitely can find pieces of that feeling outside of the parks. There's another cat back there. Wonder why they're out so much right now. I have to say it's actually been beneficial holding on to my umbrella the whole time because it gives me practice holding the weight of my own arms, which may sound weird. Normally, I have my arms on the desk to work or in my pockets. And so walking around Disneyland, I'm not used to holding the weight of my own arms. Hey, she's got the right idea. Yes. So, do that. Walk around with some weights. Smart. That was excellent timing, fellow pathmate. But I have noticed that in the past when I go to the parks. Like my mid back hurts just from holding up my own arms. That's so funny. Also, I will be wearing a backpack. I like to have the normal things like snacks and cats and whatever. But I also bring all of my back care stuff, like my portable red light pad and the fuel rods, which I've never used fuel rod before. It's a really great service that they offer at the Disney parks. They have stations of these portable chargers placed around both parks and downtown Disney, I believe, and resort hotels. And when you use up a charge in one of your rods at the Disney parks only, you can exchange them for a fully charged one for free. So as long as you have one already, you can do that. You can buy them in the Disney parks, but they are twice as much as getting them from somewhere like Amazon. In the past, I've always gotten mine from Amazon. You can essentially get two, plus the charging cables and adapters for the same price you can get one at Disney. And the last I heard, this year in 2025, someone mentioned they were $38 for one. I'm gonna look on Amazon. I'll throw a link in the description if I remember, so you can check it out. But it's very, very handy, because then you don't have to lug around with those big brick ones or worry about your smaller one running out of charge. And especially if I'm going to be using my phone a lot. Pains. That sound was pushing a car or a caboose or something into the train, and then it going up the whole line. Pretty interesting. But fuel rods, very, very good service. But anyway, I carry those around in my backpack as well. I tend to have more than one, just because, you know, I like to be prepared and all. But I do need to find maybe a different backpack. I've been using the backpack that I got for my laptop, which is a little too heavy duty. It's a nice Samsonite one that I've had for 7 years or something. I got it when I was teaching group fitness classes to put my laptop in to take to the gym to practice the choreography. Which I don't do that anymore, but I still use it to transport my laptop. But it's pretty heavy. So I'm going to see what I can find as far as a lightweight, ergonomic kind of day backpack. It's not something that I have really researched before, so I'll have to see what I can find. Well, we did it. About 3.5 miles, 7,000 steps in like an hour and 20 minutes, including our little break. And the only problems I had were several, maybe 4 brief hip cramps in that left hip. So I'm just going to stop for a minute and do a little number 4 stretch. That feels pretty good. You know, speaking of which, the snow boots, they were fine. They were cushiony enough, but I wouldn't want to have worn them longer than this, because since they're not, where are they? Since they're not lace up, they're just zip in, they slide around a little on my foot, which can also be the problem that people have with Crocs or flip-flops in the park, because it's that friction that causes blisters. Now, some people swear by Crocs, and if they fit your feet well and they're comfortable, they're a great option. Cramp. Ugh. Okay. Because they have holes and they're a little bit cooler. So if you're going when it's hot and you have Crocs that you like and you can wear for extended periods, it's a good option. But otherwise, you want to make sure you have a tennis shoe that laces up tight enough and fits well enough that it's not sliding around causing you blisters. And your socks are an important part of that too. So making sure things fit well on your feet are a good thing to do before you go to the parks. That's even brighter. Or practice walking. And that's something you might uncover when you're practicing your walking. Is my footwear going to cut it for a Disney trip? But I think that's going to do it for us this week. I'm looking forward to getting into more walking next week. And I do think I have 3 more PT visits since I've got 3 weeks before the trip. So we'll see if they do anything different. But for now, thanks for joining me on this adventure. And I'm hoping that you're finding some good activities, stretches, strength exercises to improve your physical function as well. Thanks for hanging out with me. Check the Ready to Walk Disneyland playlist for other episodes, or choose an in-park or at-home adventure.